set for baseball at the corner of 20th and Blake. Final game of an 8-game homestand for the Rockies before they hit the road for 5 games. A win today would go a long way. It'd be their first series victory since April 26 when they took a pair from the Cubs. Can they beat the Giants today? Well, we're just about to find out. Welcome inside Coors Field as we get set for Rockies baseball. Right now, we're going to get you up to the booth with Drew Goodman, who enjoyed a few days off. Glad to see you back. And George Frazier.
Tom, thank you. It is always good to be back. It's still chilly out. I don't understand that.
A little bit chilly outside. Nice yesterday, though.
Yeah, when is spring coming? Well, today it'll be Ubaldo Jimenez going for the Rockies against Jonathan Sanchez, a talented left-hander for the Giants. We don't know what we're going to get from Ubaldo right now, do we?
Well, and that's kind of the scary part about it. When you're Bob Apodaca and you look at him as his pitching coach, then you're also Jim Tracy trying to look at it. 28 strikeouts in the last 23 innings. That's all right, or 29, and the opposition hadn't hit much. But you know what? You walk a lot of people. You create problems for yourself because your pitch count just continues to mount every time. You know, the one thing I think I could probably say for him, and I struggled many times throughout my career, just go have fun. Put a smile on your face. God gave you a gift to throw a baseball 100 miles an hour. You got a nasty slider, split finger. You know you can do it because you've done it. Go out and have fun.
And one of the things, George, in addition probably to that message, they are focused on certain mechanics. What specifically?
Well, they want him to stay more balanced over the rubber. In other words, he's getting a lot of tilt in his shoulder, so the arm doesn't get on top. He breaks late out of the glove. There's little bitty tweaks in here. You know, it's kind of like an 8-cylinder engine. It's ticking on about 6 right now, and they need to get the other 2 all together in that motor to work right. And I think that's something he's battling with. And, you know, you hope it all hits on all cylinders today, but you just never know till it starts.
You know, obviously he has not been where he wants to be, but you mentioned the batting average. This year, in its entirety, in 6 starts, the league's hitting just .225 against him. So the stuff is still there. He's got to eliminate some of the walks, and hopefully he makes a big step forward this afternoon. When we come back, we'll revisit last night's 7-4 victory over Tim Lincecum in San Francisco. pitcher this afternoon, Chris Iannetta. He's 3-2 with a good ERA lifetime here at Coors Field against the Giants. Back upstairs with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Yesterday, the Rockies won 7-4. It was a complete game in a lot of ways, and for one, they took advantage of some mistakes by Tim Lincecum.
Well, they have to when you're facing somebody like Lincecum, but it all starts on the hill when you're trying to run that right combination. Mortensen was outstanding yesterday. 71 pitches in 6 innings, a lot of double play balls. There was 4 turned in the ball game, one shy of a club record in a ball game when they turned 5 back in May of '09. But they were able to flip it here. But the guy on the hill for San Francisco, he didn't. And when he didn't do this, this errant throw to second base to Tejada, that opened up floodgates. Tulowitzki line drive, almost took his head off up the middle. Then Gonzalez came to the plate, and he just added to the pain with his 3-run home run to dead center field. And the bullpen last night came in and did its job. It was outstanding to close the game out. Houston Street, a 1-2-3, 9th inning.
More timely hits the last few days.
Sure, well, 2 out hits, taking advantage. You get a guy on third. It's not 2 pop flies and a ground ball. You're getting that run in. That's the difference.
Finally, some guys on board when the Rockies hit it over the wall. Yeah. Cargo's 3-run home run broke a string of 12 straight solo jobs. Rockies will try to retake first place today. Colorado, San Francisco. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Fiesta with 40 MPG. It's a pretty big deal. Ford Fiesta, drive one. The new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. It is cool and overcast as Ubaldo Jimenez jogs onto the Coors Field mound. Game 2 of this set against the San Francisco Giants. Southwest.com starting lineup for Bruce Bochy. Andres Torres been swinging the bat well. He's healthy again in the leadoff spot. Then Fontenot. Posey will bat third. Pat Burrell's in there in the cleanup spot. Huff, Tejada, Rowan, Mark DeRosa at third. Jonathan Sanchez. Freddie Sanchez battling a little knee issue. And he's not in the starting lineup. And the first pitch is hit in the air to fairly deep right field. Actually, the edge of the track where Spilborghs pulls it in. So Torres is retired. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, you got to like that. You look at those 6 starts, 0-3 record, a lot of walks, particularly in his last outings. You look at the last 4 starts, 18 2/3, 19 walks. That's why you haven't seen Ubaldo around in some ball games. It needs a W 17th of May. The last one was 17th of September a year ago. Just playing a little numbers game there. Hope you come back on a 17, pick up a win today.
Mike Fontenot will step up. And that pitch misses down low. Jeff Nelson's behind home plate calling balls and strikes. George, Jeff Houston and I were discussing this recently. You and I have talked about it off air as you look at the umpiring crew. That's in there 1-1 at 94. When you're battling fastball command, then you hear Ubaldo after his last start say publicly, you know, I feel more like a finesse pitcher right now.
Well, it concerns you.
Yeah, but should he, as this is an easy play for Lopez, should he perhaps go out, George, and for 4 or 5 innings throw predominantly fastball? I mean, 80-85%.
Well, that's
to
what would
regain.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what had happened in the minor leagues. If you said that, you'd be out and you'd say, all right, hey, guess what? You're going to throw heaters all day long. I think the one fear factor he has in his mind right now, he doesn't have command of that fastball, and he's scared to air it out at 100 where he's going to hit somebody. And I think if you just go out, put a smile on your face, stay mechanically sound, and just air it out. You know what? If they beat me, beat me. But I'm going to go right at you. I'm not going to walk 6 in a ball game. I'm really going to attack the strike zone.
And that's what he's doing right now. It's been all fastballs. And I know we're only 5 pitches into the ball game.
But 4 strikes.
But 4 strikes. And maybe that's where he finds the mechanics, the rhythm, and the command he's been looking for. And this is a great first inning.
Yeah, all fastballs, you know, anywhere from 92 to 95 miles an hour, and you throw 6 pitches and you get the outs. It's a beautiful thing.
We haven't seen much of that, as we all know. In the strike zone, a couple of weak ground balls and the fly ball to deep right. 1-2-3 inning. There's Dexter Fowler. He was on base 4 times yesterday. He'll lead things off, and he'll be followed by Johnny Herrera in the Southwest.com batting order as written out earlier by Jim Tracy. Cargo yesterday had that monster 3-run home run. Tulowitzki a big 2-run single against Lincecum. Ty Wigginton will be at first base for Helton. Jose Lopez swinging the bat well. He had a couple of knocks yesterday, robbed of a 3rd. Spilborghs will bat 7th, Iannetta 8th. And then Ubaldo Jimenez to face Jonathan Sanchez, who's making his 9th start.
Well, big number for me, the 217. You look at that average. I just don't do a whole lot with it. This is a guy averaging over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched, but which is second in the National League. But guess what? He's second in walks also with 28 of those. So I mean, it's not like he's worked his way deep into ball games. He's gone 6 1/3 innings a couple of times, but he's turned into more than a 5.5, 6 inning pitch type guy, and then you got to go to your bullpen. Jim Tracy, 7 right-handers in the lineup today. Well, there's a reason for that. Left-handers have yet to hit a home run against Sanchez, so the only lefty will be Gonzalez.
And that's called a strike at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Dexter. You can see it was right at the bottom of the Ford strike zone. And that misses away 2-2. George mentioning the walks a moment ago. In his last start, one of his cleaner starts of the year, 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts, just 2 walks against Arizona. 4-3 victory for the Giants. His previous 2 starts, he walked 6 in each game. That is lathered just foul. He went 5 innings, walked 6. He went 5 innings and walked 6. So 12 walks in 2 starts, George. And you got to be patient with him.
Yeah, you do. You have to be very patient with him. And that's something that I think you see that more and more.
Strike 3. Dexter knew it.
Really off-speed slider, too. Normally his slider will run 85 to 87. And what happens here a lot of times in this ballpark, he'll try to overpower the slider, and it just spins, and it becomes a BP fastball, a batting practice fastball. But he took velocity off of that pitch and allowed his hand to work through it, and he kept it in the zone.
Well, here's Johnny. Jonathan Herrera last night, couple of hits and a walk. He was on base 3 times. Got the average back to 292. Here's the 0-1. That's outside. In fact, if you go back to the beginning of last year, Jonathan has played in 110 ball games for the Rockies. 342 at bats. He has 98 hits. That's a 295 average. And also throw in there 44 walks. Good off speed there. Change up. Makes it 1-2.
You know, I always brought it up, and we looked this up, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 ball games ago. He had 500 something at bats in Tulsa, 488 a year ago. His body can withstand 500 at bats, or maybe even more. People were concerned about Jonathan Herrera and his size and maybe not having the ability to work 140, 150 ball games. But obviously he's done it in the minor leagues, so why can't he do it here at the big league level for Jim Tracy and the Rockies?
Well, he's doing exactly that. Here's the 2-2, inside 3-2. You know, sometimes, George, we talk about what a guy can't do. We project what he can't do. Why not let him play and see what he can do?
Well, what I always say is about scouts all the time. They start telling you, well, he can't do this, he can't do that, or even front office people, or managers, coaches. Well, he doesn't do this very good. Well, you know what? What does he do good? And let's build off of that. Does it fit into what we're trying to accomplish as a ball club? That's the big question I've got to ask.
2 outs. Here's a McDonald's Big Mac smack. Carlos Gonzalez at the plate last night in a 4-4 ball game. Lincecum trying to get him with a changeup, and he hit it where few people could go. 432 feet straight away. Text McD to 720-720 and get a free Egg McMuffin or Big Mac with the purchase of any drink valid in Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming. That pitch is away. Cargo shortened up.
Well, not a bad idea. DeRosa's playing about 15 feet behind the bag. Just put somebody on base and then put a little pressure on Sanchez.
And couple that phrase with the fact that he's 0 for 14 lifetime with 6 punch-outs against Jonathan Sanchez.
Try to break the string.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, 3-0 hitters haven't done much. It's not just Gonzalez. The entire league's only hit a 105 against him, hitting in the 3-0.
That's not very good.
Not very good at all.
And he goes off speed. Cargo out front.
Man, that's one thing he does, and he does it very well, is he can change velocities off of the breaking ball, yet he still has an overpowering fastball at time against left-handers.
Spike that. A changeup or a slider.
Yeah, it might have been split. He's starting to add that a little bit from talking to Dave Rigetti. Just kind of another look to a hitter. But when you try to overpower that and throw it extremely hard, you'll throw it right in the dirt.
2-2 with 2 outs. Bottom of the first, nobody on for Colorado. And Gonzalez hits this in the air to left center field. And Torres moves over and makes the catch. So Sanchez matches Jimenez's 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the second. Pat Burrow will lead off for San Francisco. Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. Well, immediately following this ball game, we're going to flap our wings and make our way to Philadelphia. See the team with the best record in baseball for the next couple of days, and then it's off to Milwaukee for a 3-game set.
Now, both of those ball clubs playing extremely well at home. Philadelphia playing good on the road too, but Milwaukee has struggled on the road, played well at home.
1-0 on Pat Burrell. 3 for 9 lifetime against Ubaldo, and that's down low. 2-0. Burrell, with the return of Cody Ross, has had his playing time cut into. He's just 4 for his last 28 at the plate. Outfield straight up and deep for Burrell. And a foul tip. It's 2-1. Burrell's closing in, George, on some significant milestones for the former University of Miami product. 290 career home runs, 964 ribbies, 300 and 1,000. This is a ground ball to Lopez. He'll retreat. Plenty of time. High throw. Wigginton on the tag. Great play by Ty Wigginton. He saves Lopez there. And he gets the leading man, Burrell. Thankfully, Burrell's 6'5", George.
Yeah, it really is, and not a very fast runner, but he was able to tag going up the line. That's where a lot of times, I think, first base coach, you tell them to slide, they're safe. But this is a play made as a first baseman. You know, once you have to get elevated to catch the baseball, that's when you come down when you catch it with the sweep tag. And on the Ultra Mo, you should be able to pick this off very plainly. Short steps coming into the bag. Burrell tried to duck instead of running through the bag, and it worked in the favor of the Rockies.
Aubrey Huff will step up and give Wigginton a lot of credit because he's played mostly third, and now he's over at first, and he had the wherewithal to know, hey, I got a sweep tag here.
Yeah, and I think the thing about him, he's a ball player.
He is a ball player. This is into the corner, and it bounces out front. It's going to be an opposite field double for Huff, so the first base runner of the ball game with 1 out.
Well, looking back at it, well, start against the Giants, it was a lot better effort out at the ballpark. AT&T 6 innings, 2 hits, but yet those 5 walks were there, but only 1 run. And I think they're hoping to come into this game today with that same confidence that he showed there. He came away with a no decision. He just joined us. His last win came on September the 17th a year ago.
Yeah, he's got a bear down here. He's got Miguel Tejada up. There's 1 out and Huff at second. It's been all fastballs, George. And that's another fastball. That's down low.
Yeah, but everything's been 92 to 96. So, I mean, if you hit your location with your fastball, and Ionetta's just basically forcing him through this, making him use the fastball.
And it's going to sneak through. Huff's going to get a green light. Spielborg's throw is going to be cut off. And it is 1-0 Giants on the Tejada base hit. Just went under Wigginton's glove as he dove to his right. 11th RBI for Tejada.
Well, just trying to punch it through and hit it to the right side of the infield on a ball down and away from him. Not a bad pitch from Jimenez. Just sometimes the ball has eyes and works its way through the infield, and that's exactly what happened here.
Now to bring up Aaron Rowan, who's hit below 200 in his career matchups with Jimenez. 176 to be exact, 6 for 34. That pitch is in there for a strike. Rowan in right field today. Torres again off the disabled list at center field.
Well, ask about the Rockies Sweet 6-pack deal. Take advantage of savings up to 40% off the regular price. So call the Rockies today, 303-312-2444.
0-2 on Rowan, and the slider misses. Give you an idea how out of whack it seemed Ubaldo was in his last start. He threw a first pitch splitter to the pitcher, Jonathan Neese.
Well, not so much out of whack physically, but mentally. Why? You know, I mean, mentally you're saying to yourself, wait a minute. You throw 95 and you're throwing a pitcher a split finger? First pitch? Go right at him with a heater.
He ended up walking Neese twice. There goes the runner, and this is a soft line drive that unfortunately Herrera couldn't get in the air.
Well, Bruce Bochy's an awful lot like the former Cub manager Lou Piniella. Bottom half of his lineup, he likes to put them in motion. Try to put a lot of hit and runs on, open up infield holes, try to get the ball through there. This time Johnny able to take the broken bat soft liner and get the out at first base.
Mark DeRosa is at the plate. It's early in the game, even with first base open, the pitcher on deck. Jimenez is going to go after DeRosa. But you have the luxury of being a little more cautious. A fastball at 97. That's the hardest pitch we've seen from Ubaldo. DeRosa 1 for 6 lifetime against Jimenez. He's 0 for his last 18 at the plate. And a comeback. In the inning, the Giants get an opposite field double from Huff and an opposite field single from Tejada to take a 1-0 lead.
Bottom of the second inning, an opportunity to talk about his little story with Jonathan Sanchez. He made his major league debut on May 28th, 2006 as a reliever, actually, and in his one inning of relief, he retired all 3 batters that he faced: Todd Helton, Matt Holliday, and Garrett Atkins. A very formidable lineup at the time, but despite his great performance in his debut, it was overshadowed in that same game. I don't know if you guys remember, Barry Bonds hit a home run in that very same game. His 715th home run at the time, surpassing Babe Ruth for second all-time in terms of home runs. So great debut by Sanchez, but a bigger story in that game as well, guys.
Yeah, I remember that well. It was young Kim on the hill for the Rockies, and Barry took him over the center field wall. I'm just utterly shocked that Bonds could hit the ball that far, George. Here's
what did he do? 700.
Did he get this one? Tulowitzki deep left, way back. See you later. Home run, Tulowitzki to tie it up, his 11th of the year. He has always swung the bat well against Jonathan Sanchez. Here come the Rockies.
Well, what's nice to see, he's got a pitcher on the mound and has struggled a little bit. A couple of hits ended up in a run. Comes right back and puts it on the board, ties things back up on a breaking ball out over the middle of the plate. Went down to get it, and then his strength and power just took over from that spot as the ball cleared the fence in left center field.
Well, George, you remember 2 days ago, he had about 800 feet worth of outs.
Yeah. And now I see a slider coming down and in and just squarely met by Tulowitzki. Great shot, great camera work.
Leadoff bomb for Tulo in the second, and this is a line drive center field that's going to hold up for Andres Torres. Wigginton hit it hard. 1 out. Tulowitzki and Gonzalez have come alive with the long ball and the ribbies on this homestand. Troy now has 3 home runs and 9 RBIs on the homestand, and Cargo has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs on the homestand. Good sign the last couple of days. Jose Lopez swinging the bat better.
A couple of multi-hit games the last 2 days. The last time he'd done it was opening day. So yeah, it's really great to see. As a hitter or pitcher, whatever it is, you dig yourself into a hole. The only way you're going to get out of it is walking across those white lines and playing the game of baseball. And you just got to have a manager believe in you enough to keep giving you those opportunities. And unfortunate with the failure of Ian Stewart, it opened up some windows for guys that get that playing time.
That misses. But it takes us back to the pitcher today, Ubaldo Jimenez. And as great as he was a year ago, really as good as he's been since he got to the big leagues, this is his toughest period. And Jim Tracy was asked on a couple of occasions after the last start, in which he lasted only 3 2/3, would he consider skipping him to work on some things. He said he's got to face hitters. That's the only way he's going to get out of this. Not going to get out of it throwing an extra bullpen session or 2.
Well, that, or I mean, you know, some people say send him on a rehab, DL him, send him down on a rehab. He's still got to play. I mean, it's not the same thing. There is that thing, the second deck, third deck of a ballpark, that there's a reason you pitch in those arenas, because you're good. And the big thing is just making him believe he's that good.
Well, who wants tacos? The Rockies fans do. We want tacos. Fans, remember, when the Rockies do score 7 in any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies tacos special from Taco Bell. Spilborgh's with 2 outs in a 1-1 game.
Spilly still not totally untracked as a hitter, hitting .210, but yet as a pinch hitter has 4 hits, 14 tries. He's home run coming off of the bench.
He's had a good homestand, 5 for 10. He's 4 for 24 right now against lefties. That will change. This is going to be a tough chance for DeRosa, and he
doesn't get it. If he had a feel of that with a glove, probably doesn't have a chance at it, Drew, but he took advantage of bare hand and did it. Tulowitzki tied this thing up with a bomb in the left center field.
One swing, and Tulowitzki has gotten the Rockies even with the Giants as we go to the 3rd. One ball game, top of 3. Jonathan Sanchez takes strike 1 from Ubaldo Jimenez. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo. Great Tuesday afternoon crowd. You know, George, we kind of settle in. That's a strike also. And then you start looking around the ballpark, and the top deck is virtually filled way out there in right field.
Well, it's all filled up with the kids. They came in for science and weather day today down on the field, had all their stuff strung around everywhere. And it was pretty cool showing all the kids how all that works and what can happen. And they get to stick around and watch a good game of Rockies baseball. So that's pretty cool.
That's the, the 9 News Science Fair, right?
Yeah, it's really neat.
Here's the 1-2 and swung on and missed. Sanchez a strikeout victim. That's strikeout number 1 for Ubaldo Jimenez, and he kind of got after Sanchez with a little chip on his shoulder as if he still hacked off from walking Jonathan Neese in his last start a couple times.
I think that, and I think the fact is, Drew, I mean, his team tied it right back up again, and he got real aggressive there, and it's just different body language.
Hey, coming up in the 6th inning, text Toyota followed by a space, and then your comments and questions to 720-720. It's Toyota Talk. Thinking, George, thinking of an appropriate subject. Andres Torres lays down a bunt. Jimenez will get to it. Flip to Wigginton, 2 gone. I got one. We lost. I'm sure you've heard this already today, but we lost one of the all-time great baseball players, really one of the all-time great ambassadors for sports in general in our country, because he was a wonderful, wonderful man. Harmon Killebrew passed this morning at the age of 74 after a lengthy battle with esophagus cancer. 573 lifetime home runs in a 22-year career, almost 1,600 RBIs, and 11-time All-Stars. You can read the graphic. MVP of the American League in '69. For those of you that remember, and this is maybe, you know, our generation, George, and beyond, and we have a lot of viewers that started following baseball many moons ago. Tell us your 2-3 favorite players in Toyota Talk today from the 60s. This is a broken bat base hit from Mike Fontenot. So a 2-out knock for Fontenot, and Buster Posey will come up.
You know, I don't know, maybe it was just my era of the game and what I liked about it, but I was fortunate because I get to sit around and talk to an awful lot of Hall of Famers. Bob Gibson, Hank Aaron, guys like that. Well, when I went to the Twins in '86 in a trade, one of the TV analysts at the time was Harmon Killebrew. So it was great to spend time with Harmon on road trips, having breakfast, visiting with him about different things. About the game, you know, just consider him a friend, and obviously a sad day in baseball.
Buster Posey with 2 outs, and Fontenot will draw a throw. Not unlike a lot of power pitchers, George, even though the Giants are not a real quote-unquote fast club, Ubaldo is a guy you can run on.
A little bit slower. I think the key to it, Iannetta's picked up his pace from at the start of the season. He's at 32% now. So his job of getting rid of the ball, plus the pitcher being better at paying more attention to that runner, holding the ball, picking off. But Ubaldo's like a lot of power guys. They've got to get the leg up. It's got to get set. They're not much on doing the slide step stuff.
(2-0) on a dangerous man, Buster Posey.
So far, base stealers 5 of 6, what Drew's talking about, against Ubaldo Jimenez.
Posey fouls off that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And clearly the game plan, George, is something we discussed very early on between Iannetta and Jimenez. They are going to establish and throw heaters.
Yeah, it looks great too. I mean, the difference is the pitch count, the quick outs and innings. All those things are making things a little bit better.
Here's the 2-1, and he goes off speed there and misses. So it's 3-1. Fontenot at first, a broken bat single a moment ago with 2 outs. And this is a clean single to center for Posey.
Well, he gets enough looks at you, gets into hitter's counts. I don't care how hard you throw. He's going to put some solid wood on. Talking about out of the hand of Ubaldo Jimenez. Quick conversation with Chris Iannetta. See that ball coming out on a four-seam type rotation as that ball has some late tail to it. Buster Posey just can hit, folks. He's just good.
And it wasn't hit exceptionally hard, but
hit them where they ain't.
Hit them where they ain't. Pat Burrell grounded to third his first time up.
Burrow, one of the reasons he's had to grab some pine lately, 2 for 23 with runners in scoring position. Last night punched out. And Lindstrom came in the game with a runner in scoring position.
Jimenez started him out with a slider who was in the dirt, 1-0. Giants will head to Los Angeles after the ball game. The Rockies off to Philadelphia.
Phillies with a night game against the Cardinals tonight. Starts at 7 o'clock. So they'll be getting them late, a lot later than the Rockies will be from here.
And a 2-0 count. Here comes Tulowitzki. This Thursday at 3:30. Don't miss Rockies All Access. Mile High Managers. This will be fun. Rockies on All Access look back at the 5 men who've commanded the top step of the dugout. Don Baylor, Buddy Bell, to Jim Leland, Clint Hurdle, and now, of course, Jim Tracy. You'll hear from Todd Helton. He played for all 5. That's Rockies All Access, 3:30 on Thursday, right here on Root Sports. Here's the 2-0, and that's down 3-0. All of this with 2 outs. So Jimenez needs to make 1 pitch. You can see that none of the first 3 were close. And this is what we saw a lot of in his previous 3 or 4 outings. Not so much today. And that's leaned on and knocked into left center field. It's going to roll all the way toward the wall, and coming around, the trail runner Buster Posey. It's going to be a 2-run double for Pat Burrell. So the guy who was struggling with runners in scoring position, 2 for 23, gets the green light from Bruce Bochy, and he rewards him with a 2-run double. It's 3-1 Giants.
Well, and we saw that a little bit too with Kirk Gibson and his struggling Arizona Diamondback hitters at times on 3-0 counts. Well, he gets turned loose on a 3-0 fastball down the middle of the plate from Ubaldo Jimenez after falling behind. Now his Rockies are behind 3-1 after this ball gets out into the gap in left center field. Decent speed on the base paths with Fontenot and Posey. Both those guys come in to score. Huff drove that ball into the left field corner in his previous at bat for a double and came around to score.
3 straight hits with 2 outs after a strikeout of Sanchez, and Torres trying to bunt his way on, thrown out by Jimenez, and now this inning is turned sideways. 3 runs on 5 hits for the Giants. And that wasn't, a get me over fastball. It was 95. It wasn't, here's a 3-0 cookie, assuming you're not going to swing. Jim Tracy was saying before the ball game, with some of the mechanics issues and all of the video that they've watched together, trying to compare Ubaldo's posture to last year when things were going really well. He wants to give just one thing to think about, as opposed to, and George, you can speak to this, opposed to going out there with 4 or 5 thoughts in your mind. Just we're going to work on this.
Well, because the reason behind all of that is you get 6 things going. You're doing this wrong. All of a sudden, as you start your delivery, okay, I got that, got this, got that. Oh, I got to throw the ball now. So now it's just, let's talk about posture, and that's what it is over the mound. Staying tall on the rubber, working downhill, Don't tilt the back shoulder. So keep your posture good, and you'll have good results. Let's just fix that and see what happens with it.
Two and two on Huff. See if he goes back to the splitter. He went 97 on the heater, and it's in 3-2.
Yeah, we're all talking about staying upright here, not letting this back shoulder start to dip down and get too deep, and stay up to where you're working downhill. That's pretty good right there. You got a little bit of rock back on that back leg. I can tell you right now, Bob Apodaca has watched more tape in the last 6 months, or I shouldn't say that, last 6 weeks, than he has any movies he's watched in an entire lifetime of trying to fix this. There's no one man that's hurting more right now than Bob Apodaca for the results he's looking for Ubaldo Jimenez.
Another 3-2. Another foul ball from Huff. Aubrey last year hit .348 with 6 home runs, 10 ribbies against the Rockies. This year, he's at .217. Does have a home run against Colorado. Another 3-2 delivery. Burrell's at second. It's 3-1 Giants. Inside, ball 4. So this inning, I'd looked up on the board, George, and Ubaldo, as Apodaca comes out, Ubaldo had a chance to get out of this inning with around 31-32 pitches through 3 innings.
Yeah,
now it's up 47, which isn't a bad number, but
it's
15-16 pitches ago.
Well, that's exactly right. Not finishing out this inning or closing out the inning. You can see the big numbers there, 6-15, and then bam, 26, and you got an out to get here.
And again, you got the first 2 guys out on a few pitches.
Bang. Yeah, now you got Tejada coming up. He shot that ball through the right side on a fastball down and away. He just did a nice job of hitting.
You got to put this inning down now. You're facing a tough customer in Sanchez.
Now, Tejada's struggled out on the road, and it's not just at home. Overall for the season, but he's hit 169 on the road.
With DeRosa back, Miguel's gone back to playing shortstop. He feels more comfortable there. I mean, that's where he's played his entire career. He just doesn't have the range he once did.
Third base was not friendly to him.
Well, you can't pick your hop typically at third.
No, that extra 15-20 feet is kind of nice to have. They had a nice play yesterday on Tulowitzki's ball up the middle. Hooking one hopper. Got it, threw him out.
Took a hit from Lopez yesterday as well. A 2-0 count on Tejada. All of a sudden, Jimenez working behind, and it's a ground ball to second. In the inning, the Giants get 3 straight hits, a 2-run double from Burrell. It's 3-1. And today, throughout baseball, we honor the late great Harmon Killebrew. Precious, and time is a key element. Let's make every moment count and help those who have a greater need than our own. And that sums up how Harmon Killebrew lived his life. Gone today at the age of 74. High fly ball, deep right center field off the bat of Iannetta. And it is off the middle of the wall. And Chris in a second with a double.
I mean, it's this punch-counter-punch right now in this game. They put a couple on the board. The Rockies come right back with a leadoff double.
And I like to see this from Iannetta, who takes a lot of strikes, George. He got after the first pitch.
Well, he got one he liked. I mean, he got a ball middle half in, obviously sitting down watching. And I tell you, the other thing he did there, when the hands went back, he got in that load position. The foot went down when the pitch approached to the plate, and the hands were in a great hitting position. He made him pay for it.
5 doubles now for Iannetta. Baldo will try to move him to third. Pulled the bat back, but it was right down the middle. And now it's a 2-strike count. But put himself in part of this hole, George, by not offering it that first one.
Yeah, I mean, as a pitcher, what you're trying to do is throw about bell tie and a buzz so you get him to pop it up. But he just took that pitch. It looked like a pretty good pitch to bunt. But now maybe you get it down on a 2-strike. Ubaldo has been known to slug bunt at times and have success with it.
Well, he's gone. So Ubaldo doesn't help himself out there. And Iannetta will return to second base. And Dexter Fowler will come up. Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch. Ubaldo 98, Jonathan Sanchez 93. Brought to you by the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. Dexter Fowler leading the club in hitting with runners in scoring position. He's at 385. He had a big hit last night to drive in a run. Oh, 0-1.
Yeah, the hit he got last night was pretty neat because it was a slider down and in. He smacked it right back up the middle.
Down 3-1. Rocky's got to cash in that leadoff double by Iannetta. Especially when you're facing a team with great pitching like the Giants. You just don't get a multitude typically of opportunities. Fontenot throws out Fowler. And that'll take a 2-out hit. Jonathan Herrera coming up. If your windshield's damaged, call Safelite Auto Glass. The number is 303-287-5000. Online at safelite.com. Herrera struck out on a changeup his first time. The outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, it's a little thing, but it's a fundamental thing. I said watch Tejada with the runner at third base. Every time a pitch is not hit, swung at, and the catcher throws it back. See if he does it again. But Tejada runs in behind the pitcher just in case the ball gets away from him. Now, he probably doesn't do it this time, so he doesn't do it after that one. But a minute ago, I'm bragging about him doing all these fundamental things, and then he doesn't do it. Did you go down there and talk to him?
Well, 1 out of 500 times there's going to be an errant throw from the catcher, and a runner may be able to score, and that's why
sure you do.
Middle infielder will circle in. Here's the 0-2. And Herrera, did he get over Fontenot's head? He did not. And the Rockies do not cash in on the leadoff double by Chris Iannetta. It's 3-1 Giants as we go to the fourth. No, we at Root Sports and also the Rockies organization appreciate your support. Send us a message on the Root Sports Facebook page and let us know your favorite place to hang out and root on the Rockies.
Well, I think we ought to go to Pocatello and just do it like a remote or something.
I've been to Pocatello, great town.
How long were you there?
Did a basketball game up there. Been a while. Aaron Rowan 7, 8, 9 for the Giants after they got a couple of runs with 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Good rebound inning right here for Jimenez. Come out, pound of strikes, only 6 for 16 now. First pitch strikes in the ball game.
And that curveball's high. A few curveballs we've seen so far from Ubaldo. 1 ball and 1 strike on Rowan. A ground ball to second, his first time. High fastball, 1-2. The Giants are very, very good in 1-run games. They play a lot of them, particularly at AT&T Park. They're going to play a lot of low-scoring games because of their staff. They don't have the best offense in the National League, probably nowhere close, but they win tight games. Look at this. This year 12-3. Last year 4 games over 500. The Rockies played more 1-run games than anybody in baseball, but they were 28-30. Strike 3 on Rowan. 1 out. So let's look again at that graphic. And you see the Giants, George, 33 of 40 games decided by 3 runs or less. You have to do the little things, and to be a plus 500 team, to be a great team as they've been, you got to have a strong bullpen.
You got to have a very strong bullpen. They've got it. 3 left-handers, 4 right-handers. They have the long guy in Mota that'll come in when they're down a couple and try to get things tied up. But you know, that's something else. 7 come from behind wins already in this season.
And DeRosa hits it on the ground to Herrera. He's got soft hands. It's now an 0 for 20 spell for Mark DeRosa. 0 for his last 15 since coming off the disabled list. 2 out. Sanchez coming up. AT&T trivia question. Who had the most home runs during the 1960s? Kind of our theme today with the passing of Harmon Killebrew again on our 6th inning Toyota Talk. We want to know your top 2 or 3 players from the 60s. And if you're not old enough to remember watching baseball in the 60s, what you've read about, the highlights you've seen.
We're sitting around and listening to granddad talk, or listening to your aunts and uncles, teachers.
We just got to see my favorite from the 60s, George.
Who's your favorite?
Well, we had a birthday party when we were in San Francisco.
That's
Willie
obvious.
Mays.
You got to come up with another one.
Well,
just one other.
Okay. He started his career in the 60s. Tom Seaver. 1-2.
Yeah, see, think about all the great players didn't get to play in a World Series. That, you know, Nolan Ryan played 1 in 69, pitched another 27 years, never gotten another. Isn't that amazing?
That is something. 2-2 on Sanchez.
Yeah, I grew up in Missouri. Probably Bob Gibson was a big favorite of mine at the time. Mickey Mantle. Commerce, Oklahoma.
3-2. Well, I know Lou Brock's a guy you admired.
Yeah, Lou was a guy that, you know, he was such a great friend, man. He's just a neat guy. Travels around with his wife in the ministry right now, and does a lot of speaking along with her.
Well,
if you dive, you might have a chance. No, you wouldn't.
If I dive, I have a chance to get hurt.
Well, if you could walk the tight wire, you'd have a shot.
If I could walk that tight wire, George, I'd be in Cirque du Soleil.
No, you wouldn't. No.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. A 1-2-3 4th inning for Jimenez, including a couple of strikeouts. Colorado trailing middle of 4th, 3-1. Cargo, Tulowitzki, and Wigginton. Giants leading 3-1. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Cargo will lead it off for the Rockies. Our AT&T trivia question: who hit the most home runs during the 1960s? Well, he ended up with 573. Harmon Killebrew averaged 43 home runs in the 60s. Second on that list, Hall of Famer Henry Aaron. Third, Hall of Famer Willie Mays. Fourth, Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. That's a pretty good quartet.
Yeah, where would you hit those guys in the lineup? 3, 4, 5, and 6? How much fun would you like to face that, huh? Wow.
That wouldn't be good. Breaking ball's in there for a strike. Gonzalez hit a fly ball to left center field his first time up. Caught by Andres Torres. Cargo's now 0 for 15 against Sanchez. Time to turn the tables on him. Not going to happen here. One out on the flip from Huff to Sanchez. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. First time up for Troy Tulowitzki. And he found the seats and left center field. His 11th home run of the year. More home runs than any shortstop in the game. He's one away from the National League lead, held by his close friend Ryan Braun. Hey, don't throw away your non-winning scratch tickets. Replay every ticket and a second chance drawing at ColoradoLottery.com. Rockies have the home run from Tulo and a near home run by Iannetta leading off last inning. A double off the top third of the fence in right center field where the bullpens intersect. Unfortunately, Jimenez didn't get a bunt down. Dexter Fowler hit it sharply to second, and Johnny Herrera hit a soft liner to second. That hits Tulowitzki, so he'll reach. Hopefully it hit on a bounce. Took some of the velocity off.
Yeah.
It didn't. That's exactly where Cargo got hit the other day. On that little toe. He came out of the game as a precaution. So Wigginton, who lined to center his first time, up there with Tulowitzki aboard and one out against Sanchez. And he gets jammed. This is playable for Poza. Two gone. Jose Lopez will come up.
For a guy that's second in the league in walks with 28, talking about Jonathan Sanchez. Second in strikeouts per 9 innings. He's only thrown 10 balls and 31 strikes so far in this game in 3 2/3 innings. So obviously his command has been good so far in this Wago against the Rockies.
Well, he's pitching like he did in his last outing against Arizona, as opposed to how he pitched in New York and Washington. That's where he really struggled with his command. This guy's hard to hit. Lefty's hitting 200 against him. Righty's a whopping 224. Lopez has reached the seats twice this year. No pitch. Jeff Nelson barked it out. He said Lopez called time.
A lot of times pitchers get real disappointed. You see his hand come up and then the umpire do it, and then he's kind of snapped that ball out of the way of his hand. And it is up to the umpire to give it or not give it. If he doesn't give it to him, it's and he throws it, it's a strike or a ball depending on where it ends up.
You look at the way the Giants have played, and they had that 6-0 homestand where they set a major league record, never scored more than 3 runs. and yet went unbeaten in 6 games. That had never happened before in the big leagues. Swung on a miss. Lopez a little late on that 91-mile-an-hour heater. It's 0-1. And they've continued to play very solid baseball after leaving AT&T Park for Bruce Bochy. All this while their best hitter, the first month of the season, Pablo Sandoval's been watching.
Doing a lot of exercising, doing a lot of work. Pablo Sandoval, a lot of one-hand ground balls, a lot of agility work in the outfield. Obviously, because he works so hard to lose that weight, you want to make sure he keeps it off.
1-2.
Go purchase a 20-game mini plan and select the games you want. That's right, select the ones you want on that 20-game mini plan. These packages offer great savings. 303 Rockies for more information.
One, two. Jonathan Sanchez is homegrown. He was a 27th round pick back in 2004 out of Ohio Dominican. He's originally from Puerto Rico. Went to college in Columbus, Ohio at a small school, Ohio Dominican. And they've been able to corral his big arm. He threw in the mid-90s. Become a pitcher.
Left-handed, mid-90s. We'll help you figure it out, son.
That's right.
A lot of different things those guys can do. You can get a start, or they can also obviously go to the bullpen and be one of those guys. Jeremy Affeldt, a good example of that. Affeldt started out as a starter with Kansas City, and then they made the decision for him going to the bullpen. It prospered here with the Rockies, and it's worked into a very nice spot for him.
You know, when he was growing up in Puerto Rico, he had long hair, and his buddies called him Randy Johnson. Left-handed, threw hard with the long hair. And interestingly, Randy Johnson, when he was with the Giants that one year, helped tutor him. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rocky. See a Wells Fargo banker. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And this is from the Wells Fargo Club. It's a great deal. You can watch inside or outside. And the food up there is terrific. Not that we know anything about eating, George.
I don't know anything about it at all.
2-2, line shot right at DeRosa. So Lopez got the barrel out there. Unfortunately, it was right at DeRosa. Tulowitzki was hit by a pitch. He's left at first. We go to the 5th. The Giants by 2. Giants up 3-1 as we go to the 5th inning. Time to check in again with Alana Rizzo with today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana, where are you?
I am over here in right field by the Mountain Ranch Club, and you guys were talking about it, or well, you weren't, Drew, because you were not here, but we were talking about it yesterday in terms of Jim Tracy having the closed-door meeting 20 to 25 minutes before batting practice yesterday, and he candidly said it was none of our business what they were talking about, which is completely fine. But finding out a little bit more about the meeting today, Jim Tracy basically said, you know what, I want my players to know that we can ease the mental burden on them, that each player just needs to really take care of their own aspect of the game. For example, you can't hit a 5-run home run, and you can't throw 100 pitches in just one pitch to strike every single person out in the game. It worked last night. They had the meeting. They came out and won 7-4 last night against the San Francisco Giants. They find themselves down here again 3-1, although it is early. Let's see if they can go ahead and kind of take that message out onto the field once again, guys.
All right, Alana, here's the 1-1 to Torres, and that's in there, 1-2. Torres, a fly ball to fairly deep right field, and he tried to bunt his way on. Ubaldo fielded it and cleaned it up in the 3rd inning. Torres came into his own last year for the Giants, and he is gone here. That is strikeout number 4. In fact, Ubaldo has struck out 3 of the last 4 hitters for the Giants. Time for the Excel Energy high efficiency inning. How about the 4th inning? A strikeout of Aaron Rowan, called strike 3, like the call. DeRosa hit a ground ball to second, and then Jonathan Sanchez, who actually hung in there for a while, finally struck out on a 3-2 heater. Mike Fontenot at the plate, and this is fouled off. Out of play down the left field line. Hey, Excel Energy brings us our high efficiency inning, brought to you by Excel. Learn how about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Fontenot with that base hit his last time up, snapped an 0 for 16. 1 ball and 1 strike on the former LSU product. The only guy over the last few weeks averaging more strikeouts per 9 innings than Ubaldo is Matt Garza of the Cubs. And I point this out, you put that together with the low batting average Ubaldo has thrown out there. It's not like you haven't seen signs of Ubaldo from 2010, George. The walks have really gotten him, though.
Well, that's the key to it. I mean, you give up 2 hits, walk 6, like you can't stay out there. I mean, your pitch count's 120 and you're in the 3rd inning. You can't do that. 5th inning, you can't do it.
But right now, where Ubaldo is, confidence shaken a little bit, you have to take that as positives. He's getting punch outs and a low batting average. This is on the ground to Tulowitzki. And he'll fire it to Wigginton. Ty plays catcher a little bit there and stays on the base. 2 outs. Buster Posey is coming up. He's 1 for 2. Time for our Home Depot doing more on defense. Lopez routine ground ball, and then he fired high, but what a play by Wigginton to slap the tag on Pat Burrell running up the line. That's our Home Depot doing more on defense. 0-1 the count on Posey. Singled in the 3rd and came around on a Pat Burrell double. That's why the Giants have the 3-1 lead. Posey's hitting 6 straight. This is laced to center field. Now, Buster Posey's average is down, but I think he's going to be different. And I say different from the last 3 National League Rookies of the Year. In fairness to Ryan Braun, it's hard to duplicate 324, and 285 is pretty good average also. But a lot of these guys have fallen off. Chris Coughlin fell off quite a bit, 321 and 268. Giovanni Soto more than anybody, the rookie year 285, and then he dropped to 218 in his next year. Hanley Ramirez improved by 40 points, but Buster Posey handles the bat too well. He has great plate coverage. Really quiet at the plate.
He slows the game down. I mean, he'll go to right field for 4 or 5 games in a row, so he can see the ball longer, handle the bat better. Then all of a sudden you'll think you got him in a hole, and all of a sudden he'll just turn on one.
Yeah, I just don't see him falling too far from the mark he established last year. I mean, he may end up ultimately rising above it. Came into the ball game at 264, and that's gone up with the 2 for 3. 1-1 on Burrow, who doubled on a 3-0 pitch, despite the fact that he was 4 for his previous 25 at the plate. He got the green light from Bruce Bochy, and obviously it paid off. That's the difference in this baseball game right now. This is how tough Sanchez has been in his career, George. When he gets 3 runs of support in his career, he's 31-3.
Well, part of that too, you got to remember, he doesn't pitch real deep into games, but he does have that lead you're talking about. But their bullpen's been really good while he's been in the big leagues. You know, he could walk out of this game after the 5th or 6th inning in a 3-1 ball game, and you like your chances if you're a Giant because of that left-right combinations that they have down there.
Baldo ahead now, 1-2. Posey at first, 2 outs in the 5th, and a ground ball toward the hole that's going to sneak through. And here we go again with the Giants putting together base runners with 2 outs. And now you have to deal with Aubrey Huff.
And Huff struggled average-wise, but he always seems like against the Rockies comes up with something. The leadoff, he had to double in his first at bat down the left field line. He walks in the 3rd. He just does things to win ball games.
Well, I guarantee you, Jim Tracy, in breaking down the Giant lineup today with traffic, the 2 guys that he did not want to see at the plate with traffic, one being Buster Posey, the other being Aubrey Huff, despite the fact that Huff has a 220 average coming in.
No question. I mean, he's an RBI machine, contact kind of guy, and that's what makes him as good as he is. Fun guy to watch. It's a fun guy to see him get rewarded all those years on losing teams, to get a chance to put a world championship ring on.
There's the 1-0. That's on the corner. The reach back by Iannetti. It's set up away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's what made it look so bad, because it wasn't anywhere near where Iannetti wanted it.
Oh, that guy's using his iPad to score the game. I've seen some little league coaches do that now. They didn't do that when you and I were playing little league. Here's a 1-1. 1-2. You know, Aubrey Huff, talking to him last year, there was a bit of a chip on his shoulder in that he wanted to prove to baseball that he wasn't just a good player on a 2nd division team.
Well, there's a lot of players like that. You know, the team's bad, but you're the all-star because you hit 280.
You put up numbers, but your team finishes 20 games out.
Fairly hollow numbers because you're hunting a lot ahead of everybody else in the league, or you're at the fishing hole a lot sooner.
Yeah, there's a couple different apps one can use to score the game. All we're seeing is reflection. Here's the 2-2. 3-2, excuse me. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Aubrey Huff didn't like the call by Jeff Nelson. And the Giants leave 2 on. We're in the middle of inning number 5 at Coors Field. And it's 3-1 San Francisco. Good pitch.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Now the Rockies have had 3 base runners. A home run from Tulowitzki. We just pass it by. A double by Iannetta, and Tulowitzki was hit by a pitch. Ball 1 on Ryan Spilborghs, who grounded to third his first time up. Spilborghs, Iannetta, and Jimenez. Here in the Rockies half of the 5th. 3-1 San Francisco. Giants have out-hit the Rockies 7-2. Sanchez has had great command today.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing for me. 13 balls. He's in the 5th inning. He used to throw 13 balls in 1 inning. Yeah, once again, once he has command and he's throwing it in the zone, he's one of the top left-handers in the game.
He's clearly working Spilborghs away. And a bullet to center field. So Ryan reaches, and here comes Chris Iannetta. Well, that was squared up.
Yeah, nice to see too, because the ball's kind of working its way inside, and it's really just inside out of the baseball. His best stroke for me is right center anyway. But I mean, what he did here with the bat is just textbook. Drop that elbow in tight to the body, get the ball in, get the bat inside the baseball, and just drive it.
Iannetta bounces one to third. There's 1 and 2.
See what this pitch is. We're not going to get to see that part. You will here, though. DeRosa just takes the baseball. Nice feed over to Fontenot on to first base. Because a lot of times on a right-handed bat, when you see the ball break down into this area, you're going to roll over it a lot. And that's what ends up happening there on 82-mile-an-hour slider. You know, your hands just get fooled a little bit, and you get out front, and then you just top it and roll it over to your left side of the infield if you're right-handed, and just the opposite, obviously, if you're left-handed. Baldo, 51 of his 86 pitches have been strikes today.
He's walked only 1. That's the good news. He fell behind 3-0 on Pat Burrow with 2 guys on, and Burrow swung at that 3-0 pitch and lined it to left center field, a 2-run double. That's why the Giants lead it 3-1. And the Rockies had a terrific win yesterday, beating Tim Lincecum, who's been in a great place. I mean, at one point in that ball game, he had 21 straight innings of shutout baseball. Things looked gloomy for the Rockies, but they got after Lincecum. They win the ball game 7-4. Today's a great opportunity after losing 5 of the first 7 this year to the Giants, George, to not only retake first base, but really a significant counterpunch after, you know, the Giants won the initial 2 series of the season.
Well, there's no question about it, Drew. You come in and you can win these 2 games here. You leave town a half a game lead. You know, as you head into Philadelphia, tough series, you get a split there. And Cole Hamels no day at the beach now. That's not going to be a fun time. But the next day you get Joe Blanton, which you know, Joe Blanton is not Cole Hamels. You think you have an opportunity or a chance maybe to beat him in that second game, come out of there in a split, and then head on to Milwaukee.
3-2 and a ground ball to first. So it turns into a 1-2-3 inning for Jonathan Sanchez. The Giants continue to lead as we move to the 6th, 3-1. 6-hole for Bruce Bochy's team. Watch Dan and his Danettes weekday mornings at 7. Tomorrow morning's lineup includes Nuggets head coach George Karl and also the Clippers Rookie of the Year Blake Griffin. It's the best in sports and celebrity news only on Root Sports. Well, you were a very good high school basketball player, George. Did you have Blake Griffin's hops?
Half.
That's good. Half. If you had half his hops, that's very good.
I had half the hops, but he's a lot taller than me.
Former OU product. Boy, he's fun to watch, isn't he?
I tell you what a special player he is. His brother actually got a year with Phoenix. Now I think he's in Europe playing. Brother was a year older. How'd you go play that high school team?
No, thank you.
Have fun with that.
It'd be like playing the going to Afalo, Oklahoma, and playing the Selman brothers back in the day, right? And it's our Toyota Talk inning. The Hada bounces this one foul, 0-1. These are the home run leaders. North Dakota's Roger Maris and Willie Mays were incredible to watch. That's Jake from Forest Lake, Minnesota, sounding off on his favorite players from the 60s. This is not going to be playable for Ionetta. Yeah, the late Ron Santo, tremendous Chicago Cub. Willie McCovey.
A lot of viewers going on from all over the country today.
Robinson, Koufax, and Carew. That's quite a grouping. Spielborg's in right has it. Tejada's retired. Willie Mays. Special thanks to my dad for being old enough to know the answer to the question. Tim in the Springs. That a baby. That's why K stands for strikeout. Chad on Sandy Koufax. Mantle, Maris, Gibson. So a couple of your guys, George.
Oh, yeah. There's just such great players out there. I mean, that's the neat part about it. For me, I mean, I don't know. It's just, you know what? That's the second time we've seen a ball, though, with that good hook. Floated in at 74 miles an hour. It's just the ability to spin it, give something else in their eyesight. He had a hard slider, then a curveball. Way ahead in the count.
And then back to it, just missed high. You know, the great Vin Scully had a wonderful line. Mays and McCovey went back to back. And a great Dodger Giant rivalry. That's up and in. And Scully, in only the way he can, in that gorgeous voice of his, George said the Giants are giving the Dodgers the willies.
Yeah.
Roberto Clemente. Whoa, that missed by 3 feet. Ionetta's got to throw it to first. That missed Ionetta by 3 feet. So how many feet did Rowan miss the ball by?
9 to 10. I'm guessing. That wasn't even close.
Watch this.
I'm not sure what Rowan was swinging at. He committed early to this swing, and then well off of the glove of Ionetta. It just happened to ricochet right back to him. He's able to make the throw onto Wigington. So watch when this ball, it's a slider working away, but I mean, when he swung, he missed the ball by 2.5, 3 feet. Huh.
Mark DeRosa with 2 outs. And that's foul by a couple of feet. 6 strikeouts in the game now for Ubaldo.
And just 1 walk. I think that's something that obviously needs to be noted. He hasn't had that happen in quite some time, to have that kind of command. It just had 1 inning with 2 outs in the third. Bugaboo, single, double, and Pat Burrell on that 3-0 count with a couple of guys on base drove it into left center.
Mantle, Koufax, Mays. It's a popular threesome. Stan in Lakewood. Yeah, Harmon Killebrew was a great player. Oh, that's a splitter, 1 and 2. Zach in Rapid City, South Dakota. Bill Freehan, he was a good catcher. Norm Cash, Tiger fan, obviously. Maybe was that Helmer sneaking that in?
Probably. It's my guess.
Palmer, Brooks Robinson. Oriole fan, center field. Dexter retreats, couple of steps, he's got it. Another good inning for Ubaldo. A 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Rockies got to get something going against Sanchez. They will have the top of the order, trailing by 2. Out here, and spring fever everywhere. And then a real little one. Great day to be at the ballpark. Rockies trailing 3-1. Sanchez finishing his warm-up pitches. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo. Dexter Fowler will lead it off, then Jonathan Herrera and Carlos Gonzalez. Sanchez has been on his game. He's allowed 3 hits, a home run to Tulowitzki in the second, a leadoff double in the 3rd inning to Iannetta. The Rockies could not score Chris, though. He hit Tulowitzki in the 4th, a leadoff single for Ryan Spilborghs in the 5th. He was erased on a double play ground ball off the bat of Iannetta. So here's Dexter Fowler, a strikeout and a ground out. And it's strike 1, and that has been a consistent theme today for Sanchez. George pointed it out last inning. He's thrown now only 17 pitches out of the strike zone. That's not Jonathan Sanchez.
No.
He's 0-2 now.
Yeah, I mean, he's worked ahead, and he's done it basically with a couple of pitches. I think that's the one thing that shows up for me is his ability to do that, and he's done it a lot. Fastball, slider. Dexter struck out in his first at bat. Next time hit a hard ground ball at the second base.
This is popped up right side. Aubrey Huff's got his hand up. A lot of wind up there now. Huff makes the catch, 1 out. That'll bring up Jonathan Herrera, strikeout and a flare to second.
Well, if you're out traveling, subscribe to MLB.tv to see every Rockies game on your computer and favorite devices. Visit ColoradoRockies.com to order now.
Checking some AAA stats. E.Y. George is hitting 372.
We're rushing. He's doing a really good job. Playing center field a lot, too.
Got 10 doubles, 7 triples. And he's 15 of 16 in stolen bases.
Started out slow. I think, his spring training was pretty much shot because he couldn't run a lot, and then got to play late in the spring, and then struggled somewhat, and then all of a sudden, man, it just took off for him. It's been good.
Here's the 1-1 to Johnny. Fouled off. I'll tell you another guy doing well. The Rockies, real good looking prospects. Charlie Blackmon. He's hitting .323, 7 home runs, and 35 driven in. In 161 at bats, he has 21 extra base hits, 11 doubles, 3 triples in the aforementioned 7 home runs.
Tim Wheeler's got 12 home runs in Tulsa now.
Yeah, he has had a terrific first couple of months.
Tulsa's still in first place. The other club's struggling. Modesto in last place in the Northern Division of the Cal League. Colorado Springs next to last. And Asheville was leading. They split a doubleheader last night.
Chris Nelson's having a good year down in the Springs again. He had a good year last year down there. Was up for a period of time. .312 average for Nelson. 4 home runs. He's driven in 32. Blackman can run a little bit also. 9 bags. Good looking athlete. 6'3", about 205. Gonzalez on deck. Here's the 2-2. Herrera walks with it off the outside corner. It's 3-2.
And now look at this pitch. Very close to the strike zone, but Herrera very alertly, smartly allows that ball to pass and get out of there.
And Johnny chased up perhaps. And he is gone. Sanchez is throwing a gem right now. 2 outs as Carlos Gonzalez comes up. Cargo, a big 3-run home run last night. He's starting to get that big hit. He hasn't had many, 2-3 hit ball games in May, but he's certainly swinging the bat better now than he was for a good portion of April. And if you look back to his numbers, at least his power numbers, George, from a year ago through this number of games, they're very similar. In fact, he has more home runs, 5 to 4, than he had last year, and just 1 less double at the same period of time.
Right. I mean, average a little bit higher, but not a whole lot. I think that's something that's on the rise, and it's coming pretty quick right now with Carlos Gonzalez. Its average sets at 231 now, but those streaks are there, and then when you start to put a lot of that together.
This ball is driven to right, and it's going to die at the warning track in the glove of Rowan. A 1-2-3 6th inning for Sanchez. 3-1 Giants. Rockies trailing 1-0. Troy Tulowitzki in the 2nd inning. Got a pitch down and out over the plate, and he drove it over the 390 mark for his 11th home run of the year. Rockies were tied temporarily in the 3rd inning. 2 outs, 2 on, 3-0 pitch to Burrow, and he lines at the left center field, and it would score both runners. And that's all the offense today. It's our Cooney Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. And Sanchez pulls it fair down the line. That's going to be a leadoff double for Sanchez.
They struck him out twice, back-to-back innings, third and fourth, and then here in the top half of the seventh inning, a leadoff double by Sanchez. The Rockies got a double-barrel bullpen working now. That fastball up, out over the plate. Just ricocheted down into that corner, but you got Belial going, it appears, and Reynolds, the right-hand, left-hander.
Let's see how Bochy plays this. He's got a pitcher at second. That fourth run could be huge. And he's got Andres Torres at the plate. A guy who handles the bat really well. He's already tried to bunt for a hit in this game. He's swinging and he lines this one foul. Call Safelite Auto Glass if you need to at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Giants have won 9 of their last 13 against the Rockies. Rockies are 7-10 inside the West. Bruce Bochy's team 14-8. Two and one. Jimenez has struck out 6 in the game. Torres will try to pull the baseball here. 2-2.
Coming right out of the hand of Ubaldo Jimenez, this split finger just dies at the plate. Torres obliges a bad swing on a pitch in the dirt. Last night, Clayton Mortensen struck him out on a very good changeup, but it was a circle change.
Ubaldo been more online, George, for you?
Yeah, better balanced over the rubber. We talked about posture back in a second. Still staying downhill pretty good with everything. I was impressed by his ability to throw the curveball and a slider for strikes. San Francisco today, runners in scoring position, 2 for 5. The Rockies 0 for 3.
Three and 2 with nobody out. And Sanchez at second. 3-2 on Andres Torres. 3-1 Giants in the 7th.
He's like snap hooking that thing, man. He's doing everything he can to pull it to the right side with Fontenot and Posey coming up right behind him.
Here's another 3-2. Strike 3 on the inside corner. We got him with a 95-mile-an-hour two-seamer. And that is the first out of the inning. And Torres fails to move Sanchez along.
Very much like the strikeout in the 5th inning of Aubrey Huff. Throw it right at him, lock the hands, and let it come back to the middle of the plate. Very nice pitch by Ubaldo Jimenez. Watch how that ball's going to run. Come right back over the middle. Iannetta really extended out and made a nice reception of the baseball and gets him the strikeout.
Chris has such quiet hands and strong hands. Here's the first delivery to Fontenot. It's in there. He's able to hold pitches in the zone.
Yeah, most catchers, you look at their hands, you ever get a chance to be around Yogi, they're like meat hooks, man. They're great big thick things, and those are the guys really good catchers. Have those kind of hands. Iannetta has them.
I asked Chris how many gloves he goes through in a season. He said, you know, hopefully just one. He said maybe 2, catching as much as he is this year. 110 pitches in for Ubaldo. This clearly will be it, and hopefully he's able to get the next 2 outs without any damage. This is in the air to left center field. Gonzalez has it. And Sanchez isn't going anywhere.
Where are you
outs.
going? What are you doing?
You know what? He probably scared the daylights out of Tim Flannery at third, because instead of taking, just a step or two off the bag, as pitchers will do, there's Timmy. He started charging down the line like he was really going to.
Yeah, he was
going to go.
Whoa, big boy, head on back to the bag. Unless they hit it off the wall, you're probably not going to get sent when you get over here to third. So he tagging up, going, I'm going to force him to make a bad throw. I don't think so. Just head on back before you get picked off.
How do you deal with this one? You have Posey with Burrell on deck, first base open. Posey's 2 for 3.
I think that same discussion's going on in the Rockies dugout as we speak.
And Burrell's 2 for 3 too. But with all due respect to Burrell, Posey's a better hitter than Burrell.
Posey with a couple of base hits today. Burrell with 2 base hits. Burrell had a double on a 3-0 pitch, drove in 2 runs. For me personally, I think I would rather pitch to Burrell, and the reason why is because he doesn't run well. That's the only reason.
Here's the 0-1, and that kicks away. And now Sanchez is going to move up. Wild pitch.
Let's look at this ball on the Ultimo, trying to throw a ball down and hard into the zone, and Chris goes down and tries to backhand, squeezes early versus blocking the baseball. When he did it, just hit off the heel and shot out away from him.
It looked like slider out of the hand, which it almost looked like Chris was crossed up.
Because his glove stayed up high, and then it very lately came down.
And ordinarily, you call breaking pitch in a catcher's mind, he's already assuming it may be spiked. And when you block, your hands open up and you block the 5-hole. And Chris, as George described, reached down. So it looked like he was crossed up. 1-2 on Posey.
A little bit of emotional lift here. You're able to pull off pull off this out right now and not allow this 4th run in.
Baldo's working here in the 7th inning.
Nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the first time this year he's seen the 7th inning. See if he goes split here. That's his, one of his punch-out pitches. Here's the 1-2. Fastball, and that's how good Posey is, George. At 96, movement away. Not a lot of guys can do what he just did.
No, there's not a chance of it. It's just keeping a bat alive. A pitch that's close enough, you know you're not going to do a whole lot with. That ball's about 1.5 feet behind him when he made contact.
$115 pitches in for Jimenez. Sanchez is at third base. Here's the 1-2 to Posey. And a line drive that'll be gloved. Soft liner. Tulowitzki gets it. And Ubaldo retires the front part of that lineup with a runner in scoring position. Stretch time 3-1 Giants.
Rockies, as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, I want to talk a little bit about base running for the Colorado Rockies. Jim Tracy has said, you know what, I want my team to be aggressive on the base paths. He's done that since spring training. A couple of miscues in yesterday's ball game, guys, but Jim Tracy does not want the aggressiveness to stop. He said, you know what, if he was a football coach and he had the red challenge flag, he might throw it down or go and clothesline one of his players, jokingly, of course, if he didn't want them to go. He said, but you know what, I would much rather them be aggressive than just stand there and not force the opposition's defense to make a play. He said, you know what, I'm a teacher, and if you expect that these guys are going to know every single thing about playing the game at this level, you're mistaken. He wants to teach. He wants to force the defense. He's like, you know what, I'll take that over anything. And guys, what is the key point of this hit? What do we need right now?
Base runners.
Base runners, exactly.
A lot of them. A whole bunch of them.
Tulowitzki with a 1-0 count. He has reached twice, speaking of base runners, and that's a swinging bunt out in front of the plate. Sanchez fires to Aubrey Huff.
I tell you what, Sanchez did a really good job there. Some pitchers will come up and try to grab it with a glove and make that exchange, but he came up and just slammed his hand down on top of the baseball to stop any movement rolling. And then, you know, because a lot of times the ball will be spinning in the grass and you don't get a good grip on it. He's kind of slammed that thing down, got a hold of it, watch his hand come in, really spread out wide, what you're taught to do. And then squeeze the baseball, adjust, and make your toss. He did a good job of it.
Ty Wigginton, a line drive to center, and he fouled out to Posey. Where Sanchez has shown as good command today as we've ever seen him, George.
Well, against the Rockies, yes. I think other clubs have witnessed it, but to not have this least amount of walks and least amount of strikes thrown in the 7th inning, incredible.
Rockies haven't seen second base since Iannetta doubled leading off the 3rd. Wigginton's out front on the changeup, 1-2. 3 hits allowed. He's 24 out of the strike zone in 77 pitches. Pitches like this, he's not going to need a bullpen. And Wigginton doesn't look good there. He is fooled. That is strikeout number 5 for Sanchez. Jose Lopez will be coming up. Well, we at Root Sports want you to stay connected to your favorite team. Text the word alerts to 720-720 to get Rockies updates straight to your phone. Get the latest info directly from your home of the Rockies. Lopez takes strike 1. And that game plan going in, make him throw strikes. That's probably out the window right now in the 7th inning, because he's delivered strike 1 virtually every time.
I think for me, it probably went out the window about the 4th or 5th. As aggressive as he was, I mean, because he has been with those two pitches, slider, fastball, and the Rockies. You can see first pitch strikes. Really nice job. 17 of 24 first pitch strikes.
And this is redirected to short. Tejada is going to get the out. It wasn't smart because it was redirected with the throwing arm of Jonathan Sanchez, who looks all right. That would have been a base hit, though. And Tejada grabs it with the bare hand. Game summary brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. The Rockies and Giants were even going to the top of the third, and then with 2 outs, a 2-run double by Pat Burrell on a 3-0 pitch, and Jonathan Sanchez has made that stand up. Much better outing for Ubaldo Jimenez, though he departs with a hook, as the Giants got 8 hits in 7 innings against him. Ubaldo giving up just 3 runs. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. In the 3rd inning, here's the double by Burrell. He reached out and lined it to left center field. 2 2-out singles and then that 2-out double provides the Giants with a 3-1 margin. Don't throw away your non-winning scratch tickets. Replay him at ColoradoLottery.com. First pitch by Burrell, lined to center field. Matt Belisle is now in there, as you see, for the 20th time this year.
17 1/3, 18 hits, 16 strikeouts, not walking people. Very good batter efficiency. And last night, the bullpen, Belisle 2/3, a hit. Reynolds came out, finished up that inning. Betancourt 2/3. He did give up a couple of hits and a walk, but Lindstrom came in, punched out a guy, and then street of 1-2-3, 9th inning.
Off a double, a walk, and a strikeout. He was caught looking. So again, Jimenez, for the first time this year, worked 7 innings. He hadn't worked into the 7th in any previous ball games.
Just 1 walk, too.
Yeah, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 116 pitches. 2-1 on Huff. All of that's much better. The problem is the Rockies trail 3-1, and they have just 6 outs to work with. The Giant bullpen, they're just still hanging out because Sanchez has a low pitch count and he has been dominant. But as the saying goes in baseball, when you're down by 2 runs, all you need is a bloop and a blast. Base hit for Huff. Coming up on the Toyota postgame show, the entire show you can text in on Toyota Talk. This is already the 8th meeting of the year, 8th of 18 between the Rockies and Giants.
Yeah, rain's starting to fall here at Coors Field right now. That's not something you needed. Kind of a stiff little drizzle right now, Drew. Look up there. I always look to the upper deck where you get that green awning. You can really see the amount falling.
It has been a sloppy spring throughout the country. And the forecast is for the potential of rain both days in Philadelphia. You don't have to worry about Milwaukee because they have a roof.
It leaks.
That's okay. It doesn't leak where we are, where the players are.
Yeah.
One on Tejada. There have already been 26 postponements in Major League Baseball this year. We're in the middle of May. Last year, through the entire 2010 season, there were only 21 postponements.
Isn't that something? Unfortunate weather that has gone through the Midwest.
Wow. It's been horrible in the Midwest, obviously. That's a strike. It's been bad in a lot of areas. I mean, you know, we're used to not even checking the weather, just looking out and sunny and 75 degrees this time of year. And there's another postponement today. Pittsburgh and Washington. That's number 27. This could be a problem. Lopez, good play. You see him really make sure he had the baseball with his bare hand. Nice play by Jose Lopez.
Well, what he did too is he shortened his steps, got short, choppy steps, so he could stay balanced after catching the baseball.
On the fielder's choice, Huff to second. Aaron Rowan coming up.
Little short, choppy steps, accurate throw over to Ty Wigington. Tejada getting really frustrated not having the success that he wants to have as a player.
He drove in the first run of the game, an RBI single through the right side in the second inning. Rowan 0 for 3 against Jimenez, including a couple of strikeouts. Belisle needs to keep it a 2-run game right here. The Rockies in the bottom of the 8th will have Spilborghs, Iannetta, and then a pinch hitter.
Not a bad idea. Grab a pizza box, throw it on your head, say, you know what, hey, this worked out all right here.
When it's raining, whatever works.
That's right.
Two and one. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. 2-1 on Aaron Rowan. Giants have won 5 straight series against NL West opponents. Three and two. First. This is another one of these Giant games, George. They have 3 runs on the board, and they're on the plus side.
Yeah, and that's something. I mean, we talked about it, and you talked about the record of Jonathan Sanchez in his career when he gets 3 or more runs scored for him. It's like 30-something and 3.
Bruce Bochy's team does not have to score many runs, not with this pitching staff. Another 3-2. Swung on and missed. And Rowan gone for the 3rd time in the ballgame. He's pitching by Belisle. Huff is left at second. Spilborghs will lead it off in a 3-1 game. Inning. Spilborghs, Iannetta, and then a pinch hitter against Jonathan Sanchez. Couple changes for the Giants. Aaron Rowan moves from right field to left field. Pat Burrell comes out, and Nate Shearholtz goes into the ball game in right field. Jonathan Sanchez has allowed 3 hits. He's not walked a batter. He hit Tulowitzki on the foot. And his pitch count is just 81 here in the 8th inning. And Sanchez working deeper than he generally does. Spilborghs has one of the 3 hits.
Bruce Bochy not preparing for trouble, but just in case it starts, he's got right-hander the right-hander Romo, then the left-hander Lopez.
This is as deep as Sanchez has gone in a ball game this year. He's retired 8 in a row. Spilborghs has the last hit, leading off the 5th, and he was erased on a double play ground ball off the bat of Iannetta. Here's the 0-1. And it's high. 1 ball, 1 strike. And another base hit for Spilborghs. And the Rockies will get the tying run to the plate. One of the interesting things about this game from the Rockies' perspective, they have only 4 hits, but all 4 have come leading off an inning.
Yeah, and that's where they've been able to get first swing double play balls. Iannetta happened to him his previous time up. I mean, first pitch slider down and in, ground ball to DeRosa, and started the double play ball.
Another replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Chris Iannetta back in the 3rd inning. First pitch he saw from Sanchez. He almost hit out. Off the wall in right center, a double, but the Rockies could not bring Iannetta around. And that's brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. For the moment, Meziga is in the on-deck circle. Rockies have 3 left-handed bats, 2 switch hitters on their bench. Morales being the other switch hitter, Jose. And this is line to the left side for a base hit, and it's first and second. So the Rockies, down by 2, have back-to-back singles here in the 8th. And Alfredo Meziga coming up in a bunting situation.
Yeah, no question about this. 4 pitches into this bottom of the 8th inning. He's got runners at first and second. And if everything gets executed properly, you should have second, third, and 1 out. And Dexter Fowler at the plate.
And George, the approach a little bit different. We were talking about it. In this inning, you saw the Rockies real aggressive early, not letting Sanchez get ahead as he's done most of the game.
That's the first time the Rockies had a couple of guys on base this entire game, and you're exactly right. Aggressive, taking the pitches, doing what they needed to do with it. You know, Spilborghs really swung it well. I guess Boch has allowed everybody to get ready in his bullpen. He's talked it over with Dave Rigetti, and what should you do to go out and allow and make the switch here, bring in a very good athlete, because whoever it is going to have to field this bunt, whoever he brings in, or if he leaves Sanchez in, to throw to it.
He hasn't reached out for the baseball yet. It could be just a stall to get a couple extra tosses for whoever he wants. No, he's just delivering a message, George. That's it.
Want to make sure everything defensively is all right. Boch comes out, makes his visit, and soft jog it back to the dugout.
So Alfredo Meziga pinch hitting for Matt Belisle. Bunted up in the air. Huff and DeRosa crashing on the corners. guy like a Meziga, George, never the biggest guy when his team got off the bus from the time he started playing in Mexico and then high school baseball in South Florida. Bunning's been a big part of his game.
It has to be a big part of the game. A little guy that can move the ball around a little bit, trying to get this one. Good bunt here.
Bad throw in the dirt down the right field line. Here comes Spilborns. That'll get a stop sign. First and third, one-run game, nobody out.
Well, you can almost feel it coming with Sanchez. The wheels started to fall off in this inning with the 2 base hits and then a really good bunt by Meziga.
It happened to Lincecum yesterday, fielding what should have been a double play ground ball. An errant throw by Lincecum. The Rockies took advantage. And now an errant throw by Jonathan Sanchez. Fontenot couldn't handle it. Spilborns comes across. First and third for Dexter Fowler. And now Bochy will make a double switch.
Yeah, he's forced into doing this. Defensively, he tried to do what he wanted to do and moving the outfield around. Now he's going to have to do some other work here to make that move and bring in the left-hander Lopez, a guy that can strike out a few people's who he wants.
The Rockies within a run. Flip Dexter Fowler to the right side. Only won't flip him. He's been in the right side the whole game. Jonathan Herrera, another switch hitter. With that righty also. Jonathan Sanchez goes 7+. And his fielding error is what he's going to lament because he had great stuff today. He gives up 5 hits. He walked just 1, struck out 5. He did hit a batter. First and third, nobody out. You have Iannetta at third. Below average speed there if you're thinking about a fly ball to tie up the baseball game. Meziga runs decently at first. Rockies in the right part of the order. Bottom of the 8th inning, nobody out.
Absolutely they are. I mean, left-handers haven't done anything against Lopez. And he got his first save since 2006 the other day when Wilson was down. So I think that's why Bochy's bringing him in. Middle of the infield, play back, you get a double play, get this thing shut down as much as they can. They're just hunting for outs right now. They'll be tight on the corners.
Torres playing a shallow center field. Dexter with a ground ball foul. And Fowler 0 for 3, but he's been good in these situations. Runners in scoring position coming in, 385. He's had 1 at bat with a runner in scoring position today and grounded sharply to second. Tying run at third, the go-ahead run at first. Lopez staying away. That was a pitch that Dexter could lift. He just lifted it foul into the seats. 0-2. Get the ball in play, though. Very difficult man, obviously, to double in Fowler, even from the right side. Mezzica read that dirt ball, George, but it was so well blocked by Posey. He had to slam the brakes on.
Well, what you don't want to do here is, I mean, it's great to be aggressive, but you got to be smart with your aggressiveness. When you take off running and run yourself into an out, and all of a sudden you run from third trying to be too aggressive, now you got nobody on and 2 outs, not good. Now, if the Rockies tie this up, Lindstrom's ready to, Street would be ready to come in the game. If it stays here, Lindstrom's firing in the Rocky bullpen. Lopez, not a guy that was known to have a terrific move to first base, but it's adequate.
Righties 8 for 24 against him this year. Street and Lindstrom. Well, I tell you what, Torres is really shallow now. In fact, the entire outfield is. Swung on and fouled off.
See how much of the ball he got, went after it. Yeah, he did. Just caught the top half of it as it came in.
Wind's really gusting. Dexter has some pop. If he hits it over an outfielder's head right now, it's going to be an easy triple. Ross is shallow. Torres is ridiculously shallow in center.
No,
and
really
Shearholtz is really shallow.
You know what? I don't understand this defensively, and I respect Bruce Bochy as much as anybody, and Ron Wotus, who sets a lot of his defenses, of why you would bring him in this shallow with nobody out. And a runner at first and third. This is ball into the gap or over the head. Now you got the Rockies win. Yeah, I mean, I understand now. I mean, it's Ionetta at third, so they're saying not much speed. You know, if it's kind of a hard line drive, you catch it, you wouldn't allow the run to score, but not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if the winning run is at third base in the bottom of the ninth, and they have to bring the outfield in. You know, with less than 2 outs. Dexter battling away, 2-2. And it's 3-2. And here's the deal with Lopez. As tough as he is and can strike out a lot of guys on the left side, he doesn't really have that pitch to fan a righty. I'm not saying he doesn't get strikeouts on occasion, but that's not his forte. Facing right-handed hitters and getting swings and misses.
11 strikeouts, 15 innings.
And this ball's driven to deep center field. Turn your back and run, just like we talked about. And the Giants catch a big break.
Huge break.
It bounces over the wall. Mezzica was halfway home. It would have given the Rockies the lead. It's second and third, still nobody out. Dexter Fowler coming through.
I mean, honestly, folks, it happened just like Drew and I talked about. A ball hit over their heads and watch everybody off to the races. But the Giants did catch that monster break by allowing this ball or letting this ball bounce over up into the seats, and that had made it a 2-base hit and stopped everybody on the base pass. Dexter Fowler, you better be excited. Big hit.
And now the infield in, the go-ahead run at third. Johnny Herrera at the plate. The squeeze, the suicide squeeze, I should point out, was not on. Perhaps a safety squeeze, but Johnny didn't lay down the bunt, so everybody came charging, and it's 1-0. Off the plate, 2-0. Carr goes on deck. Lopez in for 2 more hitters. As after Gonzalez, you have Tulowitzki, Wigginton, and Lopez. 3-3. 2-1.
First 10,000 fans to the second game of the split doubleheader on May 24th will receive a Hebrew National dollar hot dog coupon. It's dollar hot dog at the ballpark. 10,000 of you are going to be happy.
2-2. That outfield very shallow, and Dexter drove it about 400 feet to right center field. If it clips the top of the wall, the Rockies are ahead 4-3, and Dexter's at third base, standing up. Two in scoring position in a 3-3 game, still nobody out. And Herrera hits a ground ball toward the hole. Fontenot has to go to the bag himself. No advancement. And you don't see that very frequently. It's 4 unassisted at the bag at first. So now Gonzalez will face Lopez.
Well, they both kind of dove for this baseball, and you see Huff dive across, and then Fontenot picked it and then just outran Johnny to the bag.
Cargo, terrific last year against lefties, has struggled this year, and this is a difficult left-hander.
3 for 30. They've hit 100 against him.
He's just trying to get the ball to the outfield somehow, some way, to bring home the Meziga.
There's that sweeping slider that he is so hard on left-handed bats with.
Lopez, a terrific athlete on the mound. If there's a squibber out around the plate, they're out in front. Here's the 0-1. Pulled to the hole, base hit. Here comes Dexter around third. Shearholtz's throw, not in time. 2-run single for Gonzalez, and the Rockies lead it 5-3. Carlos Gonzalez, 2 days in a row, coming through late. How big was that?
Yeah, Bochy's seen enough too. He's going to go down and get the right-hander now. Everything fell apart here in the 8th inning with the 2 left-handers that pitched for the Giants, and Gonzalez capped it off with this base hit to right field that scores Fowler and allows the Meziga to score right along with him, and the Rockies take the lead here 5-3. You wanted to make a statement against the ball club, you're making it. Good slide by Dexter. Obviously Gonzalez starting to feel that groove and seeing the results out of it. 25 RBIs now for him on the season.
It may be May 17th, but you can feel how important it is. Looking at that reaction by Carlos Gonzalez. 5-3 Rockies. Guys, 24 and 25. The Rockies with a 4-run eighth, and they may not be done yet. Leading 5-3. Sergio Romo's aboard. Tulowitzki at the plate. Let's see if Carlos Gonzalez, who's the team leader in steals, looks to swipe a bag.
Romo's been rough on the right-handed bats. This year they've hit 3 for 27, just 111, 1 home run. Left-handers, a little more success, though, that he's more of a right-handed guy for Bochy coming out of the bullpen. He's only faced left-handers 6 times.
Speed pitch, way inside, 1-0. That's why sometimes, George, you know, when you're trying to pick a count to run, try to pick an off-speed pitch, when you have a guy like Tulowitzki, he won't always get a first pitch fastball. Not a bad opportunity to ambush a pitcher. Here's the 1-0, and that's in there, 1-1.
Yeah, Romo's got a great slider, long kind of slingy arm action, which makes it a little more intimidating to right-handers. So that arm gets really long behind the baseball, and then just kind of slings it up to home plate and has a late break to it. He hits that location, he can be difficult, but you can also have a tendency to hang one of those in this park too.
Well, Todd Helton down the road could hit for Lopez, George, if it goes to that point, and then you flip him in defensively and slide Wigginton to third. Swung on and missed, 1-2. And Todd does have a bat and a hat on. You figure he'd see the field anyhow in the top of the 9th inning.
I think so.
Unless the Rockies really blow it open.
A lot of times, Jimmy, when he gives him these off days, if he uses him as a pinch hitter, then he gives him that chance to go on in. But, you know, sometimes hard to get that back loose and get going late in the ball game. It is kind of a cool, rainy day here at the yard, so he might just leave it as it is, just use him as a pinch hitter. He's got a Mezaga that he can run into the infield also and put him at third if he wanted to.
Just missed, 2-2. See, pitch number 5 didn't miss by much. On the forward strike zone, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Troy. A home run is 11th of the year in the 2nd inning. Fargo stretching his lead just a smidgen. And now Tulowitzki backs out. The inning began with a Spilborg single followed by an Iannetta single. And Mezaga pinch hitting got the bunt down, and then an errant throw by Sanchez. So the Rockies had a run, first and third, nobody out, and then Dexter Fowler, after a lengthy at bat, launched a 400-foot ground rule double to tie the score, and then Cargo left on left against Javier Lopez, a single through the right side to score 2. To shallow center field. Shearholtz, and he's called off late by Torres. 2 outs. Well, Wigginton will hit. Let's see if Gonzalez goes first pitch here.
Some managers will do that with 2 outs and a lead, just try to add on if they're safe at second, and obviously they can take advantage. Base hit would score.
Fargo was thrown out yesterday trying to steal third. 6 for 7. That's the first time he was thrown out this year. Not going. And the slider for a strike. Wigginton, a line out, a foul out, and a strikeout. 0 for 3. Jonathan Sanchez has the hook now, despite pitching brilliantly till the 7th inning, till the 8th inning. 0-2. Matt Belisle has a chance to get the victory.
How about that, huh?
Matty 1-2. Lindstrom continuing to throw. Good job last night getting out of the 8th inning by Lindstrom. There goes Cargo, swung on and missed. So Romo strikes out Ty Wigginton. In the inning, the Rockies come up with 4 runs. They turn a 3-1 deficit into a 5-3 advantage. Huge double from Dexter Fowler. Colorado looking for 3 more outs.
Hey, Drew, coming up after the ball game, we'll talk no Baldo. Pitches well enough to win, won't get the victory. He'll have to wait till Sunday in Milwaukee to rack up his first win of the season. Also, Fowler fighter, Dexter Fowler, fouling off those pitches, finally driving one he likes, driving in some runs, doing a great job there. And we'll also talk about Cargo delivery. Carlos Gonzalez, he's really been on a tear, picked up momentum since last week. We'll talk about that as well. It's all coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Drew?
Tom, I want to be the first to tell you I think you went 3 for 3 on those.
Thank you.
I like that.
It's really Tavis that came out 3. He was going out of his mind in the truck delivering, so Tavis gets the credit.
All right. Yeah, I think you should have taken it for yourself.
I probably should.
Nobody would know.
All right, it was me.
It was you. Todd Helton's in the ball game. Tom, we'll see you in a few minutes. Todd at first base for Ty Wigginton. Lopez remains at third. Houston Street is on, looking for yet another save. And first up will be Mark DeRosa, the struggling Mark DeRosa, and that's delivered on the outside corner. You know, George, I was talking to a couple of scouts. You and I were visiting downstairs with a couple of guys that cover the National League West, and we got to discussing closers. Here's the 0-1, and this is foul. And we're thinking throughout baseball that Street may be the only guy, or certainly on a very short list, who's really not a power closer. I mean, most closers come in, they're 93 to 100 miles an hour, 93 minimum. Street doesn't work there.
Contact guy that's going to pound the zone. He works ahead in the count. He did it last night in a 1-2-3 ninth inning. He's 0 for 7 now, and he had a ground ball to third last night. Backup slider here gets strike 3. Not the ideal spot Street wanted to put this slider, but see how that ball backed up, and Iannetta just kept it in the strike zone. See, the slider's supposed to break here, not here. Take him any way you can get him.
First at bat for Cody Ross. He came into the ball game last inning. 1 out, nobody on. And Ross can't get it. It's a base hit. Cody Ross is simply a pain in the backside. I mean, every time he comes up, he reaches, it seems like. He's become an instant hero in the Bay Area. And now the tying run will come up in Andres Torres. Well, fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game, for the Rockies Taco special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Torres at the plate, 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts. Tough man to double. Pitch is in there for a strike. Here's the 0-1. Down low, 1-1. Ground ball, could be 2. There's 1 on the first. Double play, and the Rockies come back and win it 5-3 in front of a big Tuesday afternoon crowd. It's the first time this year the Rockies trailed after 7 and came away with a victory. What a gratifying W for the Rockies. They're back in first place in the NL West. Today's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. 8th inning, Carlos Gonzalez in a tie game, singles through the right side, driving home the 4th and 5th runs. Houston Street closes it out for the save, and the Rockies have taken this mini 2-game set. They've swept the Giants. They're back in first. The final 5-3.